Chapter 16. Beginning of the Divide, Part 1. Damien Jr. had arrived with refugees and Michael and his forces back to Elder Lands. As he greeted his fellow men on shore, he was made aware of the fall of Seafowl and the Flower Continent. They heard this from Paige Seafowl, who managed to escape after all. "Forgive me, Seafowl. This is my failing," said Damien Jr., and he shed a tear for his fallen elder. So a small ceremony was held in the church nearby to remember Cicada and the rest of the fallen. John recorded all those that were coming to the Elder Lands, John being one of the new elders, so he could also make provisions for them. William, another of the new elders, a mighty prayer warrior, prayed over the lands for God's protection as the chaos was never ending. Some time passed before battles started up again. Omri was beginning his campaign against the Union and went on to attack the Encantada. Defending Encantada border was Selena and the army commando Bavia. Omri, Sekinda, Newell, Maya Lukaya, and Cisco Sis were on the mannequin side. Everything seemed normal. The mannequins were making progress. Then suddenly the royals from Colossal Island arrived to attack Incheon. Alan, the disgraced leader, dared to attack Omri, so Sekinda sent droids to deal with the royals. Next, Alexander and Natash from Cody's Royals army arrived and appeared. Omri then realized that the royals had joined forces. This was perfect, as he could take the royals and Encantada all at once. Then, just as the mannequin army was starting to have things under control, the Scotia, led by Maverick and the new officer, Red Warrior, had arrived. Sekinda was dumbfounded. It seems that these two bitter Pinecone rivals had joined forces. This was a problem, as the Incheon army was running out of provisions to last this battle, so they had no choice but to retreat. The Scotia Royal Army and the Encantada made peace as their foe was defeated. Red had joined the Scotia. May had happily smoked that day as she welcomed her new talented warrior to her fold. Goldie and Alan had united the royals to be a proper force once more. May and Cody reached out to each other as they both had similar goals of Pinecone rule, ruling the land. It wasn't a bad idea for them to fight together instead of each other. So they decided to be one army. The Scotia Royals celebrated that night as they had their first win over the powerful Mannequin and Strong. On the other side of Zero, Jedi's stellar forces were on the move. Prince Walker, Gator, Aldehyde, Lokut, Kute, and Hognose and their troops were advancing to find out more about this new Dimension Zero. All of a sudden, the Orician army ambushed them, and a battle ensued. Two generals appeared to be leading them. One was a man named Brielle, who was an artistic tough guy, and the other was Tank, who had very strong muscles. Walker ordered the allies to attack and capture these lot to get answers. Without warning, Aldehyde and Hognose attacked Walker. Luckily, he was able to dodge it. Walker didn't know why they would do such a thing. Then his cousin Gator told him to look into their eyes. He did, and saw that the eyes were blank. Thinking a sinister work was at play here, Walker ordered Nukute to find the one responsible for this. The other held off the two Orician generals, while Walker dealt with his attacking allies. Nukute then found out who the man was that was responsible for this confusion. He was Hoji, a man with psychic powers. He and his men were the Oricians that were looking for Stella. Hoji thought that he could control her allies' minds to find her and Zing and bring them to justice. The Rock, Nukute, had something to say about that. He avoided Hoji's attacks and getting his mind controlled. He was then able to defeat Hoji, which freed the minds of Aldahid and Hognose. We all rested after the psychics left. We had many questions, as we had little answers. Who are the Oricians? And how strong are they really? And what did Stella and Zing do to be criminals here? Now we see a small town named Nishu, where Bamusu was resting, having found a lovely lady of the night to spend his days with. One night the lady was doing yard work when an assassin in elder soldier clothing slew her. She screamed, which woke Bamusu up. He ran to his dead lover's side. He glanced up in a pit of rage. The elder soldier attacked her before he disappeared. Bamusu wanted revenge, and he knew not where that soldier went. Then on cue, Trillium, the trickster, came to confront the strong man. Trillium, 31. He is a liar and a thief. He tricks people into doing things they don't want to do, and fools them to believe what isn't real. He is one of Damon's enemies. Trillium then said that the elder soldier was some issue, and that they hated women like that, like his dead friend over there. So he promised to take him there. Filled with fury and rage, Bamusu and his forces went to Elishu. You see, it was really Trillium who killed the woman in order to get the powerful warrior on his side. If he could use the Electricons to take Elishu, then the dimensions and the others would soon be crushed by his might. Joshua, Gideon, Barak, and Deborah, and Eliezer were the only ones in Elishu at the time, defending it. We had no idea of the trouble that was heading their way. Cannon fire started to ring out everywhere. Eliezer and Gideon rushed to the front to confront this new foe. Deborah led an evacuation of the innocents. When the battle really started to heat up, General Barak and the strategist Joshua stood up high on a high tower and saw a monster of a man fighting wildly in great rage. Barak asked who that could be. Joshua had no clue, as he could only conclude that this individual was from Zero. If this was the case, how did he travel to Elishu so quickly without detection? And why was he on a rampage in Elishu? Eliezer kept fighting the Electrican North, as Gideon was already defeated. Bamusu was impressed that Eliezer could last this long with him man to man. So he calmed down a little and explained why he was there. After the explanation, Eliezer tried to reason with him, as to say that elders don't murder hookers, but they preach and pray for them to change. Bamusu heard that and was bummed, as he didn't want the end to all of the hookers, no matter willingly or force. So the fighting continued. Joshua concluded after hearing what the enemy had to say that a trickster was at play here. He knew who, so he asked Barak to find him. Later, Eleazar then managed to get Bar Musa on a knee, which never happened before. The Electricans stopped fighting, as did Bar Musa. There was no way strong man like this, who he could respect, could be the cowardly killers he was looking for. Then Barak and Deborah, who got the citizens to safety, to join Barak in his search for their target. Trillium was pissed that his trump card wasn't as tough as he thought he was. He then went with his troops to take Elishu himself. He used gags and other trickery to fight. Both Deborah and Barak and the elders have been training hard and long for this fight. That is how they managed to withstand Bar Musa for so long. Gideon might need some more training, however. Trillium was being pushed back as the elder leaders defeated his men and only he was left. In anger, Trillium foolishly told the troops that he killed the harlot to get the Electricans to take Elishu for him, and they still failed. Furious, Bar Musa tracked his way to Trillium to end his life by tricking him. All this time, all Trillium could do was scream like a little girl as Bar Musa slammed him to an early grave. Shortly after that, the Electricans left that place, and the elders and Elishu remained standing. Later, in his travels, Ka claimed would reunite with Bar Musa and join the Electricans. Ka then told him all that had happened at the flower continent, and Bar Musa was mad. He vowed from that day on to crush the Bilderang by taking his own hands and making him and his forces homeless.